Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I hope you're having a great day. I know that we are just a few short days from the most important election that I believe that any of us will ever see. This election next week, November 5th, 2024. Today, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, I know I've been hammering this, I've been talking about it, so much over the last several weeks, but the truth of the matter is your vote truly does count. I know some people, I live in Mississippi and I pastor a church in Louisiana, and I have some people in Mississippi and Louisiana tell me, well, Trump is going to win, Louisiana, he's going to win Mississippi, so it really doesn't matter if I vote or not. That is not true. It does matter if you vote. Listen, yes, the most important election of our lifetime is on the ballot here next week in November 5th. But the truth is, there's a lot more than just a president that's on the ballot. Every single congressional seat in these United States of America is up for election. There are, I believe, 22 United States Senate seats that are for election. I know there are judge races that are up for election. And so there is so much that is at stake. There is so much that is on the ballot next week. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, your vote counts. Your vote does count. That's why on God and Country, you will hear me continually talking about the importance of you and I getting out to vote, because I am so sick and tired of hearing and seeing people say that my vote doesn't count, when the reality of it is your vote does count. And so we've got to do all that we can to get out the vote for next week. I will say this, it's been really good seeing many people already going to the polls and voting. As far as my friends and Christians that I know from all around the nation, I've got friends in a lot of states and all over America, and it's really good to see many of them already going to the polls and voting, because they understand 100% that their vote does count. And so we've got to do all that we can to make sure that we get to the polls, because, ladies and gentlemen, I have had enough of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I have had enough of listening to those two as they go up and down our nation, spreading their lies and misinformation. And it's just incredible at some of the things that they are saying. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And I feel like this eagle, I saw this picture, and it's perfect for how I feel at this present moment whenever it comes to going and voting November 5th. And I can't wait to get to the polls and vote come November 5th. And I'm going to tell you one reason why. There's a lot of reasons why, but I believe that in D.C., I believe that there is a major swamp. We have a major swamp issue, major. And unfortunately, it's just not on the Democrat side. Unfortunately, there are some Republicans that are just as much of the swamp as some of the Democrats are. And we'll deal with them after this election, of course, and we'll dive into some of that after this election. Right now, I'm just been focused on trying to defeat Kamala Harris and J.D. Waltz come next week, and Joe Biden, and so that's where my focus has been over the last 6 months, and that's where it's going to remain until after this election. But there is so much swamp in D.C., and I'm just going to tell you that I hope and I pray and I think that we're going to win the White House. I really do. As long as we keep pushing and getting people to go to the polls, and we just continue to work and do all that we can to get people to the polls, I really feel very good about us taking back the White House. I also feel good about us keeping the majority or getting a majority in the Senate. I believe we'll be around 53. That's my opinion. That's what some of my friends have told me, and some things that I've read. That's what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm seeing. Maybe around 53. And then I think we'll be plus 10 in the House, which is good, as long as we keep getting people to go to the polls. The swamp in D.C. is unbelievable, just how much this swamp is. And I will say, President Trump did drain a lot of the swamp. He drained the swamp. At least we could see a lot of the swamp monsters, so we can see who they were and who they are, which is great. But there's still much more of the swamp that needs to be drained. And whenever you look at the team that President Trump is building, Elon Musk, I can't think of anybody better whenever it comes to a business mindset, to come into D.C. to help clean up and help drain the swamp. When you look at Kennedy, listen, I understand that there are some things that me and Kennedy will disagree on. There are some things that we do agree on. But I know that He'll come in and he'll help whenever it comes to holding people accountable in the area of draining the swamp. At least from what I can tell from Kennedy, is that he is an honest man. At least from what I could tell. I've never met him. I have a lot of friends who have met him, and I've heard good things about him. But I do believe that he will help in this area of whenever it comes to being honest and holding people accountable. I like seeing people like Tulsi Gabbard come on board, and there's many, many others that have joined the Trump team. And I'm looking forward to seeing, what they will do in 2025. I will say this. I do think that President Trump is much more prepared now to be president than he was back in 2016. Now, I think he did a good job, but I think he's going to do even a much better job now because I believe that Trump, he's been in D.C., he was president, he has seen it firsthand. And so he has felt the wrath of the swamp. And so that's what happens whenever you cut the light on. Them creatures begin to run out. And my good friend Colonel Rob Maness, he tweeted this out. He tweeted this out earlier today, and so just talking about draining the swamp. And so whenever you look at the FBI, whenever you look at different parts of the government, it is full of the swamp. Rob Maness says you do not despise this regime or the FBI enough. Whistleblower James Comey had FBI honeypot. Spies infiltrate Trump's 2016 campaign. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the swamp. That is unbelievable that he would have people infiltrate the Trump campaign. Listen, they need to be worried about countries like Russia and Iran and Afghanistan. They need to be worried about those places. They shouldn't be worried about Trump's campaign. I mean, good night. Great day in the morning. I mean, what are these people doing? And that is the swamp. And James Comey, he was part of that swamp. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, your vote counts. We have to get the vote out. We have to take back the House. We have to take back the Senate. We have to take back the White House. And it doesn't happen if we don't go and vote. I'm sure that many of you heard Joe Biden call all of us Trump supporters garbage. I can't believe that a president of the United States of America would call over 80 million of her citizens garbage. I mean, that is truly unbelievable. That is like Hillary Clinton back in 2016, whenever she called all of us deplorable. Now you have Joe Biden, the president of the United States of America, calling you, those of us that support Trump, me, calling us garbage. Could you imagine what would have happened if Donald Trump would have called Kamala Harris supporters garbage? Man, the media would be they'd be losing their mind if that had happened. But we're not going to hear much about it, of course, except from us, except from people that are reporting and sharing on Facebook and Twitter and other social media platforms. That's the only way that we're going to get out the fact that Joe Biden's calling all of us garbage. J.D. Vance, and boy, he's doing a great job. And I think that Donald Trump made a great VP pick. Senator Vance said Kamala Harris and her boss, Joe Biden, are attacking half the country. There's no excuse for this. And I agree with Senator Vance, future Vice President of the United States of America, that there is no excuse for that. Why? I don't care. Listen, why would you be calling half the country garbage? I mean, that is what they truly believe. Vivek said this, and he said, this is the basket of deplorables moment. That's what he says Biden's garbage comments is our October surprise. And I agree with Vivek Ramaswamy. I agree with him that this is huge. This is huge. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, whenever it comes to news media, whenever it comes to things like this, that we have to depend upon each other to get the truth out. Because CNN, and unfortunately even Fox, yesterday I was watching Fox. I had a few minutes yesterday, and I was in my office, and I was watching Fox News. I was in there for, it was 30 minutes. I had about 30 minutes. And so I took 30 minutes to watch Fox News. I heard more about Kamala Harris and her campaign than I did about Trump and his campaign. I saw Kamala Harris on Fox, and I heard more about her than I did Trump. Vivek is right. This is our moment. And ladies and gentlemen, CNN, Fox, they're not going to help us get this message out. They're like I said, Fox is showing more of Kamala Harris yesterday in the 30 minutes that I watched. Maybe that they fixed that after I watched. Maybe that was just part of that segment. But it was shocking to see them reporting so much on Kamala Harris, more than even Donald Trump. They're not going to help us get this word out. They're not going to help us get this message out. If we're going to get this message out, it is going to take you and I sharing and spreading the word. That's what it's going to take. Ladies and gentlemen, this picture right here will be forever engraved in my mind. This picture of Donald Trump. This is the picture where Donald Trump was just shot. There he is. He has the blood running down his face. He just was shot in his ear. And he's there on the ground. When I see this picture, it angers me. I'm just getting chill bumps even right now. It angers me to no end that someone would get that close to President Donald Trump on a roof with a weapon that could have killed him. Ladies and gentlemen, the swamp is thick in D.C. The swamp is thick. These people, Joe Biden, he called us what he believes. He believes we're garbage. Now, listen, I know that I disagree with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and J.D. Vance and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Tim Walz on many issues. I know that I disagree with them. I have many friends that are Democrats. I have some friends that are going to vote for Kamala Harris. I will never call them garbage. Now, I question them. I ask them, why are you voting for her? Why would you vote for somebody that is for abortion? Why would you vote for somebody that is for open borders? Why would you vote for someone like her? I question them all the time, but I'm not going to call them garbage. Number one, they're my friends. Number two, they're fellow citizens. They have a right to vote for whoever they want to vote for. I mean, they have that right. It is my job to message. It is my job to help try to educate them. It is my job to try to help get them pulled over to our side and to get them to vote for our candidates. I'm not going to call them garbage. I'm not going to call them deplorables. They are fellow citizens. They are Americans. Yes, I disagree with them on issues. Yes, I want to defeat their candidates 100%. And if they even run as a Democrat, and if we have a Republican that can win, we'll try to defeat them, because it's about the policy. It's about those issues. And so what's important to understand is that I'm not going to get into the name calling. What are we, fifth grade? I mean, what is this? Back in junior high? Where we're calling each other. It's irresponsible. That is just unbelievable that even the President of the United States would do that. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is what that party has become. This is what it's become. When they will allow, and I'm putting this all on Joe Biden because he's the president, and I'm putting this all on Kamala Harris because she's the vice president. Whenever you will allow someone to get this close, you have ceased long ago being a servant of the people, but to being a tyrant. And these people will do anything to hold on to power, anything to keep power. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, I say it all the time, that your vote counts, and your vote does count. Anytime I'm talking politics or anything like that, people say, Dan, why do you get so involved? Why do you get so fired up about this issue? This is why right here. This is why. That's my beautiful family. God's been good to me. That's my son, Quitman, my son, David, my daughter, Diana, my daughter, London, my daughter, Scarlett. Those are my 5 children that God has entrusted me with. I love them dearly. I will do anything for them. I'm going to fight for them. I'm going to fight for their future. One day, if things go naturally, they'll grow older, they'll get married, they'll have children, I'll have grandchildren. I'm going to fight for my children. I'm going to fight for my grandchildren. I'm going to fight for my great-great-grandchildren. So every time I see this picture, it fires me up and it makes me want to fight even more and fight even harder for a man like Donald Trump to be president of the United States of America. Listen, people have been saying, and it's a great campaign slogan, Make America Great Again. And I agree that we need to be doing all that we can to make America great again. But first, we got to make America becoming great again. We've got to make it attainable. We've got to make the American dream attainable. The only way to make the American dream attainable is by electing Donald Trump. You're not going to make the American dream attainable by electing Kamala Harris. I mean, it's unbelievable at inflation and the price of groceries and our electric bills and gas and everything has skyrocketed. The American dream, as of today, it is no longer attainable, but it will be attainable if we elect someone like Donald Trump. That's why we have to push, is because I want the American dream to be attainable for my children. I want the American dream to be attainable for my grandchildren. That's why I fight for Donald Trump. That's why I get on social media. That's why I post. That's why I do all that we can to try to get the Christians out to vote and try to preach and tell them your vote does count. If we're going to make the American dream attainable again, we have to elect men and women like Donald Trump. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to mention to you, I want to tell you that your vote counts. Let's push. We've got today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If you watch this show tomorrow or Friday or Saturday, you even have less time. So let's do all that we can to get the vote out. As I ask every time, if you're watching this on Facebook, if you're watching this on X, if you're watching this on YouTube, please share, please retweet, please copy and paste the link. It helps us get out our message. Social media platforms do not like conservative news outlets, and the reason is because we tell the truth. We tell the truth. And so let's push. Let's remind people, hey, your vote does count. Your vote counts. Let's get out the vote on November 5th. Thanks for watching God and Country. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. And thank you for all of you that are working to get out the vote. Thank you for pushing. Thank you for working. Let's continue to push. Let's continue to work. And may God bless you. And may God continue to bless the great United States of America.